All right, let's start. So we're going to talk about a specific thing that we're doing, leveraging FDC3 to enable text to FDC3 conversion, enabling a vision across our platform, enabling self-driving essentially throughout Connect. So I'm Ajay Mehta. I lead the Connect platform team.
My name is Abhishek Pandey. I've been with the firm for 9 years, and I was part of the core team that built this platform.
Hello, everyone. This is Lokesh. I'm a technical specialist in the team. I have been with the firm for 7 years.
And I'm Sara Swanson, head of design for advisors, client, and servicing. I've been with JP about 9 years and helped to build the Connect platform over the past 8.
So throughout this presentation, we're going to show a number of examples. These were constructed specifically for this presentation. They're not necessarily, what we're specifically doing with our product. So we're going to start with our journey. We're going to talk a little bit about our Connect platform, how we built that up. Then we're going to go into our new product, which is called Connect Coach. Then we're going to talk about the foundations to enable the rest of the presentation, which is enhancing our user experience with intents and automatically launching those intents. Then we're going to show you a demo, and then we'll talk about what's next and the possibilities of this type of automatic navigation. So Connect is our user experience platform. It enables federated product line teams to develop capabilities in an independent way and deliver them to users seamlessly. It serves as our operating system for our private bank and wealth management lines of businesses, ecosystem of tools. It enabled us to modernize our technology, decouple our applications, while still bringing them together in a unified and consistent way. So over the past 9 years, we've built in all of our UIs into our platform, and we've delivered them to 30,000 users across 100 core roles. Depending on your role, you have a different suite of applications, and we have about 500 applications that are in our ecosystem right now. They're built by 2,000 technologists across the organization. This has been in a period of enormous growth for our organization. JPMorgan Private Bank had an increase of 50% in advisor revenue productivity. That means that when we started, on average, an advisor generated $2 million per advisor. Now that's up to $3 million. There's a 120% increase in assets under supervision. It's also been a period of enormous growth for our wealth management line of business. We have 5,500 CWM advisors, 3,600 JPMA advisors. So this has served as a foundation for our next product, which is Coach. This is something that kind of followed along the general principles of the Connect platform to enable federated teams to develop capabilities while still bringing that to the users in a consistent and uniformed way. So this really kind of exploded when our organization started to get access to generative AI APIs. The number of use cases exploded. People were thinking about all sorts of different ideas of enabling productivity gains and capabilities throughout their workflow. So we wanted to ensure that as this reached our users into production, that it wasn't a fragmented experience, that they weren't like navigating to each application with different chatbots appearing. Potentially, each chatbot could have a different answer. Some of them could be overlapping, some of them could be inconsistent. So we want to ensure this unification across that entire platform. So we've enabled this. This is something we've been working on for the past few months, and we are rolling this out in the last few weeks. So we started rolling it out, and we're going to continue to roll it out this month. So this is a very busy time for us. So currently we have 3,200 users entitled. About 80% of those are active, which means that they're asking questions. About 45,000 answers have been generated so far. 3,000 of those answers have been routed and reviewed by specific experts across the organization. We generate 300,000 ideas and push them to users daily. And we have about 30 federated domain AI capabilities that have currently been onboarded. So what are we looking to get out of this in terms of impact? Two main things. One is we want to give our advisors high quality reasons to reach out to their clients. That's going to deepen the relationship. And we know that with deep relationship and engaged clients, we increase wallet share. So that increased wallet share will increase revenue. Also, we want to make our advisors more productive. We want them to be able to do more with the time that they have, and that means that they will be able to have more clients per advisor. The next one, so a foundation for all of this, like we went through over the past 9 years, we've been building up our platform, and a big part of that is building interoperability throughout our platform, capabilities where different decoupled applications can communicate to each other, whether it's through a shared context or whether it's through a point-to-point intent. Another important part of that is visually binding these things together. So you have these different federated applications that are built by different agile teams across the organization. We're bringing in best-in-class vendor capabilities as well into the whole mix, and bringing all these things together to enable this. And we've been creating these structured intents and methods throughout our ecosystem for the past 9 years, and we're going to leverage that into the future. So in addition to leveraging the interoperability, the platform itself serves as a foundation for us to create a Copilot and enable AI at scale across our organization. So the UX platform itself, all the work we've been doing to modernize our technology, to move to the cloud, to modernize our data, all of these are foundational capabilities. So similar to how Microsoft has this kind of term, Copilot, they have Copilot built into their suite of applications. You see the same thing with other providers, like Google has Gemini throughout their workspace suite of products. Apple is releasing Apple Intelligence. Salesforce mentioned that they're going to do something called Agentforce. So similarly, we're going to leverage the fact that we have a platform and that foundation to enable our Copilot Connect coach across that environment. So the goal, which is the same goal of the principles that we've been working on for the past 9 years, is unifying the user experience. So we want to unify that experience across chat agents, ideas, and insights. We want to harness the knowledge of the experts that we have across our organization. We want to, since we have a UI toolkit and people are using that to develop their UIs, we want to embed AI throughout those components for common general purpose use cases like proofreading, summarization, so on and so forth. We want to make it easy for users who are launching into this experience to have built-in training and a welcome experience. They know the best prompts to ask, the types of things that'll work best for their roles. And we also want to empower our users as creators. So we see prompts and mini applications being built purely through English now. And you have 4-page long prompts. You have people maybe adding documents to those. So we want to enable our creators. And what we're going to focus on this presentation is enabling a next generation navigation through FDC3 and the generation of intents. So with that, I'll pass it off to Abhishek.
Yeah. Thanks, Ajay. So as Ajay mentioned, during our journey, we created multiple federated UIs. These were built independently by different application development teams. As we were registering these UIs, there were intents that were created. There were about 300 to 400 intents that were created to drive navigations among these UIs. These intents, from the previous session, these intents, as you know, can be discovered programmatically and invoked at runtime based on users' entitlements, their subscription, their personas, and whatnot. In addition to that, we also integrated with LLM technology. So LLM technology is good at converting, figuring out the user's need expressed as natural language. And we use that information along with the intent discovery. Sorry, thanks. Intent discovery to prioritize the most relevant intent based on the user's usage pattern, contextual information, and workflow. So in this example, Amanda, who's our advisor, she she used our chat interface either to type in or to speak what she wanted to do. She wanted to set up a follow-up year-end planning reminder with James. So what we did was this user prompt along with the user's persona and the intent that are available for the users was fed into LLM, and then LLM came up with suggested intent that can trigger a UI navigation. In this case, it figured out Amanda is trying to create a reminder, and then there was an intent that was discovered. This intent can be programmatically invoked and navigate the user to create to a UI where she can create a reminder. While doing so, the contextual information about the client, she wanted to set up planning with James. So the client information, the due date, the account number, all of that was pre-filled in this UIs. Along with the system also assigned this reminder to one of our team members. So user being able to express their need in natural language makes the interaction a lot more intuitive and user-friendly. Beyond just chat interface, we also have another module called Coach Ideas, where there are multiple federated agents that detect or that bring up relevant insights for the users. These agents, again, generates a lot more text that we can use that text, feed into the LLM, and come up with a prioritized list of intents that can be triggered. In this example, one of the agent generated a top idea to review account structure. So we use that text and the intents that are available to wire up an appropriate action. So you can click on John Green to open up that person's profile. Likewise, there's another idea that was generated around a trust opportunity, and the intent was auto-discovered. Client call is another example where text to action comes into play. When an advisor is on a call with a client, our real-time transcription capability can transcribe the conversations, create a bulleted list of topic. Guess what? This is just more text that we can again feed into LLM and bring relevant action on the screen while on the live call. So in this example, our advisor is talking to James. Advisor is talking to James while the call is going on. We transcribe what was being discussed. That text was fed into LLM to figure out what are intents that are available. So there are two that came up. One is about trade confirmation. So it seems James was talking about a security that he wants to sell. So the system automatically figured out that intent to either execute to launch a trade ticket or to create an email draft for a trade confirm. So clicking on this action will open up the relevant UI along and pre-fill with all the contextual information about the client, about the securities, and whatnot. So all of this will simplify overall navigation. It'll reduce manual effort to go and figure out where to open up the UI and fill in all the details. But it'll also ensure that the user is still in control. The action doesn't execute automatically. It just navigates to the user with all the contextual information. So this is just like Tesla's self-driving capability. I guess a lot of us would know how it works. It uses signals to trigger certain actions, like lane changing, turning, and familiar action that the user is aware of. But at the same time, user can take over control for decision-making steps. So this will ensure control and accuracy. I think, yeah, that's it. Next up, I'll hand it off to Lokesh, who can show a simplified version of our chat interface on how it works.
Hello, everyone. Hello, everyone. Audible? Okay. Okay, so here we are going to concentrate on the chat part in the Connect Coach platform, where we'll be giving our intents, and then you'll see how it navigates through the system. This is just like a configuration that I shown. This is just for a demo. This is not just prompt engineering. It has much more to it. For example, apart from the prompt, we apply the entitlements the user has access to. the navigational context the user is on, and the book of clients the user has access to, and name lookups and instrument lookups and so on and so forth. You will see some of them in the demo. Here, for example, in the above prompt, you can see like I'm defining you are an expert in financial application with FDC3 intents. I have defined the list of applications that you have. On the right-hand side, this is a sample application. For example, here you see reminders application where we have two intents. One is for creating a task, and another is for showing all your tasks, right? And show reminders has like a filters, due date, start and end. So like, for example, relatively you can get reminders, for example, tasks for today, tasks for last week, and so on. Now let's look into the live action just to see. I will take the control. Okay, here is the code chat mode. Here is where we are going to express the intent, and you can see like how it navigates to the screen. For example, this is the first question I ask. What's the top news today? Right. So this is like as an advisor, this on the start of the day, I would like to look at the market news and all the stuff. So this is the first question asked, and what it's going to do is like translate that text into the right intent. And here, if you can see, the user has access to FactSet and directly focuses the market news for me. So assume like you're a new joining and like like you need to learn about all the 1,500 UIs in the application. You can just express your intent and it's navigate the user to the right screen. Now I'm going to review my book of clients. I'm going to just say Open CRM. So what it does is like directly focus me onto the client relationship management tool where I can review my book of clients. Show client Danny. So here this is an interesting example where I just shown just Danny. What it's going to do is going to scan Danny in my book of clients, and it's going to bring focus that specific Danny that is in my book of clients for me to review his portfolio. Right? You can see the positions and other information of Danny. Now I want to make a call to Danny, right? So call my client. This is what I'm typing in. So call my client. In this, this is where the navigation context comes into play. For example, I'm already on the profile Danny. So I don't need to specify Danny again because the system already knows I'm on client Danny. It's going to automatically find which is the right number to call, and it's going to directly place a call for me. So this is a click to dial where the call already goes on. Now I'm on the call. I would like to record the conversation. I need to type in notes and other things while I'm on the call with the client. So I'm going to say log a new conversation. Here also it knows I'm on Danny. So it's going to open up the conversation app with already pre-filled details. For example, here, if you can see here, the profiles are already tagged, which profile I'm talking to, and also it put the JPM participant, which is myself. Now, as a part of the conversation, I also want to create a follow-up task as I need to talk to Danny again in some point of time. So here, for example, I'm putting create a reminder to speak to Danny. So if you see here, I'm trying to create a reminder to remind me to talk to Danny one point of time. So if you can see here, the title is already pre-filled and is assigned to myself so that it will remind me at the appropriate time. Now Danny wants to assume place an order, right? For example, he wants to buy JPM stock. So what it does is going to open the brokerage app with the pre-filled details of the right ticker as well as the buy intent that I just expressed. Now, whatever we've seen right now, it's all navigation units, how you express the intent and navigates you to the specific screen. Apart from that, you can also register intents where you can change your preferences. Say, for example, I want to change my look and feel, or if I want to change my threshold level, say for example, large cash transaction, I want to set like 50K limit to increase it to 100K. All those things you can be able to even do. This, for example, I'm just going to change my look and feel. I'm going to just change the theme. So as you can see, it's going to automatically change my entire theme to dark. As a developer, I like the dark theme, so. Okay, that's all I wanted to show for the demo. But like as you can see, like it's not just like the chat that you have to give an intent and then get a specific response, right? For example, assume like a notification or a specific insight that is coming, you can already pre-fill the follow-up actions that is needed for the specific text. So the advisor already knows what to do with the notification or the insight. Yeah, that's all for now. But I will hand over to Sara about like what lies next in Connect. Thank you.
Thanks, Lokesh. And I will quickly get us back started. So we just looked a little bit about how we're already empowering users to use natural language, convert that with our system to trigger navigation based on those intents. But what we're thinking about for the future is this true self-driving Connect experience is that we have multi-step journeys. So we saw today one intent conversion to navigation, but we suspect that this will become a larger picture. It also allows for federated development teams to teach those skills in a consistent way that will contribute back to that system. We do feel that personalization is going to be really important here. So AJ mentioned earlier that we have so many core roles of different user types. So we'll need to take into account their persona, their behavior, past behavior, and even the context where they are in the platform to help tailor this navigation conversion. And then lastly, Abhishek hit on this a bit, but we believe it's really important that the user will be in control for financial institutions where security is paramount. We, of course, want to make the experience efficient for our users, but still allow them to take control if they need to or they need to intervene. So a little bit about what's next for us. So as we've seen today, FDC3 paired with the platform advantage that we feel we have does enable significant automation. But again, we emphasize the importance of human oversight in AI-empowered secure financial institutions. So we're focusing on a few key themes going forward. Smart digital workers to assist in things like drafting trade tickets or emails. And again, we're not executing trades or sending emails, we're drafting. So we're making it easier for them to get where they need to go and to kind of follow through with that task, but they are executing on it. We also want to do end-of-day digest to provide advisors with a mobile summary of any system-supported activities that happen throughout the day. And we do want to allow automated task execution with a risk assessment scale associated to it. So some of it, like create a reminder, no risk really associated to that. It's not going to impact the client's bottom line. But something like execute a trade, high risk, likely needs user intervention. You also want to support in-call experiences like Abhishek showed earlier, so leveraging call transcriptions and summaries to surface insights live in the call, giving the advisor the ability to act live. And we also want to enhance help and support to reduce training time, so especially to users that are newer to the firm, they don't have to learn all 500 apps, as AJ mentioned earlier. We can help navigate them there so they can have uptime sooner than they do now. So if we look a little bit at an example on the right, we can imagine our system may have generated a task plan that the advisor or user is able to review. If they feel comfortable with it, they can approve it, and the system can start running. So as Abhishek mentioned, that self-driving capability, it'll start running in the background, but of course the user is still in control. They can pause at any time. But in this example, we've recommended a plan for tax loss harvesting towards end of year. Coach navigates the user through the relevant applications that are needed to do that. They select the best tax lot and recommend that to the advisor to sell. They can draft the trade. User intervenes to execute that trade, and then they draft an email communication to the client, and again, user intervenes to send that email communication. Ultimately, our goal is to provide the best user experience for advisors and clients while also safeguarding their data, which is why we believe human oversight is crucial as part of this. FDC3 and intent translation are really just the beginning for us, and we're really excited to continue our journey towards our self-driving vision for Connect. Thank you. Now on to questions.
Yeah, so I'll let Lokesh answer that. But just to add, we've had Connect for 9 years before FDC3. So FDC3 is a subset of the types of things that we support. So we have a lot of additional capabilities on top of that.
Hello. Yeah, it's like as AJ explained, like we have already like 500 interns that is already built with like custom, context already built. So FDC3 is like something we adopted new. So like there are only few interns. So that we are having custom interns too on our own. Yeah.
But the idea is the same. Basically, you're using the LLM to write a function, and then you have a set of defined objects that are the inputs for the functions.
Yeah, right now like, we are using GPT-4o model. Sometimes we do see hallucination that we maybe like 10% of the time, but we are still in pilot phase and like we are doing it. Maybe like we are looking at RAG approaches as well to make it more accurate. Yeah.
But the good thing is it's not necessarily like writing a block of text, right? Either it writes the method or it doesn't. If it doesn't, we can handle the error. And yeah, obviously if it like titles your reminder the wrong title or something, then you can edit it. Yeah, so I think initial approach in general, this is not necessarily specific to this, is you try to do an intent classification and you try to pick like the right thing to select the right tool. And if you're only trying to select one tool, then it can be difficult. Let's just say that somebody writes something and the possibility is that like 2 possible tools could be the right choice. At that point, you can potentially launch both, or you can ask the user to clarify.
Just to add on to that, so you can launch multiple tools. You can also use their usage data, so what the user has been doing, given a particular workflow that they are in. So there's a lot of things that can come into play to figure out which is the right one. And at the end, it's just feeding in more data to figure out what's the right.
Yeah, I mean, generally the other chats, you're chatting with other humans. Here, they're already in this tool all day long. So we can essentially, this is an internal tool. So we can, by adding embedded capabilities, we can get folks to use it. Initially, we're very soft. We're not aggressive. So we just like these things start to appear in their user experience. We don't even necessarily even tell everybody that they have it. But then as we feel more comfortable, we start to market it more. We can send them advertisements within our own system. Hey, this thing's available, click this button, so on and so forth, and go from there. But yeah, I mean, some users are naturally, they're adopting the technology more rapidly than others. Most people at this point are using generative AI to enhance their productivity. So we're just kind of leveraging the fact that that's becoming like a normal consumer use case.
So how do you balance that?
Yeah, I mean, our users are internal employees. They're advisors. Like well before this, we obviously, when you log into our system, we do log your usage. And that's also important for security because there's a lot of sensitive things in there. You're making sure people are not looking at things they're not supposed to look at, so on and so forth. So there are some specific rules, like some certain states and certain jurisdictions where we have to handle the data in a very specific way. But it's not new, I would say. It's more akin to logging. Yeah. Yeah, I mean, I think there's lots of different challenges and lessons that we learned. I think like finding the right decomposition for each agent. So we have like an ecosystem of agents per se, and if the agent is too broad, then it's hard to understand exactly what it can do. So I think that's one challenge. So like modeling agents to human user roles is like a good approach, and then you can have those experts in those roles review the output and make sure that it's actually operating correctly. The end user may not actually know whether it's doing the right or wrong thing, so you have to rely on experts. So I think that's one key thing. Another key thing is like people don't know what to type into a box, so just enabling training right into the product, even if they type in something wrong, clarifying it, rephrasing questions that they ask so that the underlying agents can better handle it, ensuring that we're keeping we're using history to enable that so that all the agents don't have to know the full context of everything, but they get a nice rephrased question. And a challenge right now that we're working through is figuring out how to like merge general purpose use cases and specific business use cases. And the goal being that we don't want people to have to do this cut and paste thing that often is done with LLMs. So, if you want to gather data from numerous sources and format it in a very specific way, you can do that. And then enabling that in a safe way that we can review and we can ensure that users are not like doing things they're not supposed to do, but also we can get a sense of like what are the important things that we should focus on in terms of technology support.
Guide the advisors to commonly asked questions. There's good results, so to your end, you guide them to tax harvesting questions.
Yeah, so like what's interesting is like organizations have all sorts of processes and procedures and best practices that go back years. And when you start to digitalize them, you can start to leverage them. So yeah, there's a year-end planning checklist, and there's basically a checklist for every possible thing you could imagine. So these checklists exist, and now they're already structured plans of how to do specific activities, and we can harness those existing things. And we can also find where maybe something wasn't written everybody thought that we had a very perfect checklist to onboard a new client, but now as we feed it into the RAG model or start to surface the reality of what it is, maybe it needs to be written in a more precise way, or additional information needs to be added. Yeah. So this presentation is focused on the FDC3 slice of what we're doing, and we're doing a lot of other things, looking into many other things, and Lokesh can speak to some of this, but we're also looking into robotic automation, which is different than this, and moving the mouse and the keyboard and stuff like that, if you want to.
Sure.
Yeah, FD3 specific.
Yeah, so as AJ said, like your question is like how we are using FDC3 intents for other agentic workflows. Was it?
Or, I guess the question is like, do you ever feel limited by the FDC3?
Yeah, as I
Yeah,
s-
so
yeah.
like in what ways or maybe in what examples could you point to? I'm just curious about pushing it forward.
Yeah, for example, like as I explained earlier, like we have like already registered intents as well as the contracts already established, and like our workflows that are already working in the system. So there are already consumers for them. So we don't want to disturb and saying like, okay, I will implement a completely new FDC3 standard, right? So only for the new ones we are started adapting FDC3. For the custom ones, we are still supporting, so that like the consumers can still make use of it.
Just to add one thing, it seems like LLMs are better at writing like structured bits of code. So like, just an example, it's easier to get an LLM to write a UI model that maybe in JSON that represents the UI, given a schema, than to actually like implement the whole thing in React. Obviously you can do that, but then it'll be like more inconsistent. But if you want to make things more deterministic, if you have a structure. So we have the structure. Going back for years, we can give it the specific schemas, the specific data types, what all the attributes are, what all the attributes do, what all these methods are, the specific purposes of all these methods. So we can feed it all this information, so it's very structured. So it becomes more deterministic. We know what's going to happen versus like asking it to write a Selenium script or a, UI path configuration or something, which can be, it could be anything, and you don't necessarily know where it's going to go.
Because they didn't have access to something?
Yes, so access is like a foundational thing that's been connected since the beginning. We have, I think, a fairly complex access system, and it's something that we work a lot on. It's a big activity. Yeah, I mean, I think we're I would say like on that respect, we're leveraging years of work. We have access in terms of functional access, and we have data access. So whether you're in a UI and you're requesting for a bit of data, it's controlled by your data access. There's a layer that does that. And similarly, when we move this to like a Q&A, like if you ask for like, hey, which clients hold Apple, which of my clients or which of the clients that I can see hold Apple. It'll only show you what you have access to see. It won't show you anything else. And that predates the work that we've been doing here. Yeah, there's many advantages to using FDC3. First of all, it's open source, so it kind of de-risks any sort of proprietary thing that you're using. It enables you to integrate with plug and play with vendors. So we're doing that right now. So you can drop vendor capabilities into your ecosystem, and things that you wouldn't think would be possible are now possible. Like you may have some market data, you may have a security, you want to launch a trade off of it, you can do that. So those are the types of things that drove us towards using it. And we definitely want to, make our platform as open as possible to de-risk it from any sort of proprietary things that we have. We are using we do have a partner that we've been working on since the beginning, and so it's not totally homegrown. Yeah. All right. Yep. Thank you.